There is a region near Washington, D.C. where 500,000 can transform your entire life trajectory, where tech jobs are multiplying like wildfire. Schools are consistently ranked in the nation's top best, and you're just a short drive off from the nation's capital. Welcome to Northern Virginia in 2025, place that is so full of opportunity that moving here could actually be the best decision that you will make this decade. I've helped thousands of families navigate the market here in Northern Virginia, and today I'm pulling back the curtain on everything, and I mean everything that you need to know before making your move here, from hidden gem neighborhoods to insider tips that could save you hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is the roadmap to the future that no one else is going to give you about moving here to Northern Virginia. All right, so let's dive right into the video. Now, where should you live? Obviously, that is going to be a common question. The biggest thing I tell people before they move to Northern Virginia is think about location and commute time. You're definitely going to want to talk to us about that. I'm gonna get into that a little bit here into this video, but traffic is going to play a big part in it. Part of the problem with Northern Virginia is you could look at like an Arlington and think, oh, you know what? It's only a 20-minute drive from Manassas, but you know what? There's also an hour full of traffic. So where you live actually changes everything. Do you actually want to be super close and walking to Amazon HQ2 or the Pentagon, or are you cool living out in the suburbs? I've had plenty of clients who are working from home, and then all of a sudden their job at Amazon HQ2 or Amazon Web Services completely changed, and they were told they had to go back into the office. And guess what? They were commuting 90 minutes away. And I've also had plenty of clients that have bought high-rise condos over in the Arlington area and eventually moved out as they started a family. And then also, we also have the metro system and then the VRE train, which I'll get into more as well, where you can actually ride the train right into the Pentagon or Union Station, whatever you want to do, and just hop on the metro. And there's also plenty of places around here that's actually not a bad commute to get into. And there's also places where you can just walk right to work, have your kids walk to school. So all kinds of options here near Northern Virginia. Now, one of the things that I often ask people is, where are you going to be working? Like, what is making you work here? Obviously, this is a very transient area. We just had a political race, and then now you guys know jobs come in and out. We also have tons of gated communities to condos, townhomes, single families, pretty much anything and everything you want. Golf course communities, pool communities, communities with pickleball, pretty much everything that you would want. Now, the difference is as well, there's all kinds of different pricing, right? You can be out in Prince William County, where I'm at, with an average sales price of around $550,000. Or you can be in Arlington, Virginia, and Alexandria, Virginia, with an average sales price of $1.1 million. Why are the prices so varied here in Northern Virginia? Well, again, it's all about location, location, location. The closer you are into Washington, D.C., the more expensive it is going to get. And also, the closer you are to the metro system or major highways, it is going to get a lot more expensive as well. So let's talk about the major areas that people often ask me about. Let's definitely talk about Arlington and Alexandria. Those two, right, are going to be the closest to Washington, D.C. Arlington will obviously be the closer one. Arlington, to me, is more of like a younger crowd, a lot of working professionals in their 20s and 30s, a lot of nightclubs, places to eat. You can certainly walk around anywhere. Drawback to Arlington, though, is there is really a huge lack of parking, and parking can get really expensive. So if you don't have a car, great. If not, you can also just hop on the metro at any given time that you want, right? The other thing is Alexandria, one of the best old towns in all of the United States. George Washington's estate is not that far from there as well. Old Town Alexandria, one of the most beautiful places that you could ever be in as well, but also super, super expensive. And they also have a metro system. So it's all about what type of lifestyle that you want. Do you want to be able to walk into a nightclub or a restaurant, or are you not at that point in your life where you're going to be going clubbing on a Tuesday night and looking for the greatest happy hour? Other places that I like to tell people about is going to be obviously Fairfax County. That is the most populous county here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. It has plenty of areas to live in. Like, one of my favorites is going to be Reston, with the brand new Reston Innovation Station coming in. They also have a metro system, Reston Town Center. Then of course you have Tyson's Corner with the Capital One building, Capital One headquarters, all kinds of different MicroStrategy, the largest holder of Bitcoin. There's all kinds of things there. You have Tyson's Galleria, the mall, which actually was the very first mall location that Apple opened up, and Steve Jobs himself was there for the opening of it. He did a big presentation there. So this is obviously a high-tech area. And then of course you have Prince William County, which is going to have areas like Woodbridge, Manassas, Gainesville, Haymarket, but all kinds of breweries and wineries, all kinds of different housing options. You can get a condo for $300,000 all the way up to $1.5 million, or you can get a single family for $500,000 all the way up to $4 million. Same as townhouses. Going to be a lot more affordable, but of course a lot further away from Washington, D.C. DC. Then of course you have Loudoun County with all of its data centers, all of its high-tech jobs. You have great areas like Ashburn with One Loudoun, and then Leesburg with Old Town Leesburg and all the shopping, wineries, breweries as well. And then Aldie, Virginia is super close to Washington Dulles Airport. But again, that area can get expensive as well. $1.1 million average sales price, but all the houses are new. So there are plenty of housing options here in Northern Virginia. It's all about where you want to be. Obviously, you're going to need an expert like myself to help you navigate through that. The biggest thing that I would tell you too, are you cool with an HOA or are you not cool with an HOA? We're going to have a lot of communities here with HOA amenities and all that, but you're not going to be able to have a 1969 Camaro on blocks in the front yard, right? But you can also get some older places in Manassas or a Sterling built in the 60s or 70s that's not going to have an HOA. So a lot of it is going to be personal preference. And by the way, we can help you out whether you're a young professional or if you are looking for that active adult community. I work with buyers all the time, and most of them come from this YouTube channel. We can talk about anything and everything you want. Real estate here in Northern Virginia. Lived here my whole life, and I certainly know the market. But I want to talk a little bit more about affordability in Northern Virginia. All right, so how affordable is Northern Virginia, right? That's probably something that you're wondering if you're going to be planning on moving here. Prices here have been really good, actually. Even though most of the country has been flat, most of the prices here are trajectorying about 3 to 5% a year. You have to remember though, 3% a year is an average market, right? The other thing is we are only 50% of our inventory pre-COVID, where parts of Florida, Texas, all those other locations are almost double or almost 1.5 of their inventory. So we actually don't have a ton of houses for sale here at the moment. And I feel like that is going to be part of the reason. I'm going to get into reason why in this video, why it's going to be like that. But about 500,000 is going to be your entry point if you are looking for a townhome and single family. Now, one of the locations that I really like is going to be Woodbridge, Virginia. Tons of amenities there. There's all kinds of building going on there. You can get a single family for around 500,000 to 600,000, a townhouse around 300,000 to 400,000, or you can go over to Manassas and get a starter condo for around $250,000. Great for first-time home buyers. You know, the first place I ever bought was a condo in Manassas, and then I ended up buying a single family that I'm in today in Gainesville, and I kept that condo in Manassas as an investment property, and I went on to sell it for a big profit. That's something that you might want to consider if you are a first-time home buyers. But I've had some buyers recently get some great deals. You know, they've gone out to areas like Fredericksburg or Stafford and got houses for around $350,000, and they were okay with a long commute. It didn't really bother them that much. And I've had some people buy some amazing brand new houses out in that Fredericksburg or Stafford area, and they've gotten a new house for $800,000 with like completely Mac Daddied out, all the finished square feet that you could imagine, amenities left and right. They were cool with driving up 95, but also keep in mind, Fredericksburg, Stafford, all those areas outside of Northern Virginia, that's also super close to Quantico Marine Base, the FBI, Woodbridge. That's super close to a lot of jobs as well. Like if I was a first-time home buyer, $250,000 to $300,000 was my budget. I definitely would look into Manassas or Woodbridge. You're going to be able to get a condo, 2-bedroom, 1-bath for around $250,000 to $300,000. The cool thing is, in the state of Virginia, before you buy a place or get locked in or anything like that, you can review the condo documents, make sure that you're cool with all the rules and regulations they have. The biggest trade-off is going to be you're going to have a little bit more of commute time, but keep in mind though, they have done a great job with getting these roads built up here. So the commute time might not actually be that bad. Now, what are some hidden gem locations if you don't mind commuting into Northern Virginia? One area that I would definitely consider would be Culpeper, Virginia. It has one of the best downtowns in all of Virginia. It's actually been named one of the top 10 downtowns in all of the United States. Simply beautiful area. You've got farms everywhere. You've got brand new single family homes for $400,000 built by Ryan Homes. That is a really popular area as well. Yeah, it's another extra 30, 45 minutes away, but it's also close to Lake Anna, Virginia, which was the #1 Airbnb destination in all of the United States. Another area that I absolutely love is going to be called Front Royal, Virginia, super close to Luray or Shenandoah National Park or Skyline Drive, where you have all the beautiful hiking and all that. I just had 2 of my YouTube viewers and Instagram followers buy brand new single families out there for $525,000. We're talking 3 finished levels on half an acre, beautiful single families, all kinds of nice amenities, tons of upgrades. But you know what? They don't mind riding up 66, an extra 35 to 40 minutes a day. You know, so that's one thing that you might want to be cool with, right? Are you cool with that hour drive, or do you need to be closer into the city? Now, what else is there that you might expect expense-wise. Now, one of the things that just drives me nuts, and I used to have a full head of hair, is the car tax here. Every county has a personal property tax. So if you have a $60,000, $70,000 car, you're going to be paying a $2,000 a year personal property tax on it. The other thing is commuting, right? You have to take in tolls, metro, gas. We also have hot lanes here where you can pay to ride in. They're all privately owned, so they kind of can go up a lot in money. It depends on thing, but sometimes I've had to pay $70 to go from DC to Gainesville. But you know what? I only didn't sit in any traffic, and it literally took 25 minutes, and I was doing 80 the whole way, where if I had been in traffic, it would have taken, 2 hours, but I was cool spending the money because I really did not want to sit in traffic. Now, one of the things is that people ask me, should I get a townhome? What do you think about those? Townhomes are really popular here. You're going to save a couple $100,000. Some of these townhomes, to be honest, are just as big as single family homes. So definitely keep that in mind as well. What type of loan options do we have out here? We have all kinds. Now, one thing that you can actually get into, and I can help you with, if you were looking at like a Culpeper or a Front Royal, is going to be called a rural development loan. That will be no money down. It's done by the Department of Agriculture. We can help you with that. It takes a little bit longer to get closed. There's also FHA loan, 3.5% down. It's going to be a little bit of higher of interest rate. And then you have conventional, of course, but you also have a VHDA, Virginia Housing Department, where they will give you a grant. Keep in mind though, some of these first-time home buyer programs, we can definitely get you in, but the interest rate is going to be a little bit higher. And then of course, we're here in Northern Virginia by Washington, DC, right? We have all kinds of Navy, Army, Marines. So VA loans are certainly popular as well. We do that's about 30% of my business. So all kinds of things going on. One thing I'll tell you too is you got to remember Amazon just moved HQ2 here. One of the biggest employers here is going to be Amazon Web Services, kind of like their data center arm. Northern Virginia is widely known for data centers. They sell for about $2 to $3 million an acre just to even buy land in Northern Virginia to build a data center. So there's all kinds of them coming up. My prediction for the area is going to be prices here, I think, will be stable, 3 to 5%, very healthy market. We just never had those large tract neighborhoods around here, right? So there's not much land, and I don't think God is going to be building any more land around here anytime soon. So I think it's going to be a healthy market for sure in the DMV area. One of the questions that I get all the time, should I avoid an HOA? What are the pros and cons? We're definitely going to get into that. Before I get started, if we haven't met, I'm Chris Colgan, your favorite DMV Northern Virginia area realtor. I release videos every week on all things living here in the DMV, whether it's real estate, things coming to the area, the best neighborhood. So if you like this video, definitely hit that subscribe button. If you are thinking about buying a home or moving here, email me info@colganteam.com. My team literally helps tons of people all year long that are moving from out of state or even local from this YouTube and our Instagram. We have one of the most popular Instagram pages in all of the DMV, about 10 million viewers a month. So definitely hit me up. Let's keep talking a little bit more about homeowner associations. Okay, so super common question, right? What do I think about HOAs, and are they good or are they bad? I have one, right? But mine is pretty minimal. It's only about $80 a month, okay? So it does include like common area maintenance. So they basically make the entrance really nice. It includes trash removal, which I really like. It would not be great if everybody had different trash cans out every day and there was trash trucks moving all up and down the street. It also includes the nice tot lots and all that, but we don't have a community pool. We don't have a gated community, right? But the only thing that drove me nuts is they did not like the data center coming in across the street, right? So the HOA people decided to sue the data center. Now I'm help funding that lawsuit. That's one of the downsides of an HOA, but there's plenty of other great neighborhoods, right? That HOAs can be amazing, like a Dominion Valley in Piedmont, or maybe areas by One Loudoun, or maybe even Reston. You're going to have golf courses, swimming pools, facilities that you can use, gyms, pickleball, anything and everything that you could ever want and imagine. So that's one of the pluses of the HOAs as well. Cost for something like that, when you're getting in those type of neighborhoods where it's including internet and all that, can cost around $300 to $350. You don't have to join the golf course if you don't want. Those tend to be some great neighborhoods as well that do well with resale, because somewhat times you got to remember, when there's no HOA, you're going to have the neighbor that can pretty much do whatever they want. So that one neighbor that has 15 cars, a dump truck, they can really make values go down in the neighborhood. That's something that I would really keep in mind. I would say HOAs here are pretty common. The one thing that I'd watch out for, I do like condos, but keep in mind some of these older condo buildings, that's something that you really want to do some research on, because insurance premiums have really skyrocketed, and that can make the cost of your condo dues very expensive. Older neighborhoods like Manassas and Sterling, they're not going to have HOA dues. Like Sudley is a really popular area. Houses were built in the 60s and 70s. A lot of them have been remodeled. You're not going to have an HOA to pay for, right? But you're going to have to take your own trash to the dump or hire a trash service. The other thing is too, you could have the neighbor running the construction company, which is fine, but out of their property, and you got all their trucks coming in and out, guys coming in and out of their house all the time. That's something that you want to consider as well. As far as like maintenance, I will say around here, most of the HOAs do a really good job of keeping up with the properties. Now, of course, can you move into a neighborhood where the HOA president literally thinks he is the president of the United States? It can definitely happen. One of the best things I think you can do if you're going to move into a community, and we can definitely help you, is jump on a Facebook page and ask people, hey, what's it like living in that community? What do you think? You're going to get a ton of different answers, and hopefully it's going to be people that live there that will tell you, hey, you know, I love it. My kids love walking to the bus. They talk to everybody. They have so many friends. Or they might say this HOA is a nightmare. One of the things that I think will be happening with the future of HOA trends is I think neighborhoods like mine or the other neighborhoods like single families, they're going to be okay. But some of these townhome and condo ones, they're going to be keep raising some of the dues, I believe. But keep in mind, typically they do end up raising dues about 5 to 10% a year. And that can definitely add up for sure. That's something that you want to consider. But like I said, in the state of Virginia, you do get 3 days to read all the HOA rules, bylaws, see how much they have in reserves, what is their plans for the future. One common mistake that I see people have is they might have a work truck, like maybe they work at an HVAC company, right? But that HOA does not allow work trucks with lettering on the side of it. That's a common mistake I see. So that's something that you want to see. The other thing is too, maybe you're moving into a townhome or a condo neighborhood and you can't have pit bulls or you can't have 150-pound, you know, St. Bernards living in there. That's something else that you're going to want to keep in mind too. So definitely keep that in mind. But you're thinking about buying a new home versus a resale. Let's get a little bit of the pros and cons. And one of the things that are really influencing buying houses around here are going to be the data centers. Now, data centers, you might even be working for one. It's crazy. Some of my family members work for them and they're making pretty good money. Some of them as young as 19 or 20. What's happened around here, okay? A lot of the builders or developers, they have sold their land to data centers and not built houses because they're getting they're going to make a lot more money selling to a data center company versus building houses. Can you believe that? That's how much they're getting for this land. So it's really kept the housing inventory very low in Northern Virginia, and most of the land now, they're just getting sold to data centers. There's not many more houses coming in. You might see like these 20, 30, 40 pocket neighborhoods, maybe by like a DR Horton or somebody that we work with a lot, but not a lot of new construction around here. Developers are literally running out of land. Like companies like Amazon, Microsoft are snapping up so much property. One of the things that how much Amazon has influence over here, they're actually getting together with the power company and helping extend out the nuclear power plant down by Lake Anna, if you can believe that. That's how much power Amazon has, and Amazon is paying for it. So the data center industry is definitely huge here as well. Let's talk a little bit more about like builder premiums, the pros and cons. One of the things you got to keep in mind, if you're looking to buy a new home and you're going down the road and it says starting at $600,000, it's probably going to end up being $800,000. Okay, $600,000 is literally just studs in the wall. And keep in mind, we can definitely represent you. It will not cost you any extra money. Definitely email me info@colganteam.com and I can help you with that. One of the things that you might want to watch for is if you get a really good lot, they're going to charge you a lot premium. That's something that I can help you negotiate. Now, where is there a ton of new construction going on? I would probably say Haymarket, Gainesville, Ashburn, Reston, maybe that Front Royal, Culpeper area, Manassas. There are some things going on. Woodbridge, there are, but like when you get in deep into Northern Virginia, like Arlington, Alexandria, or maybe even Fairfax, you're talking usually $2 to $3 million homes or even townhomes. You know, most of these builders now, they're tearing down older homes and putting in these huge big mansions. What I usually tell people at Northern Virginia, if you're going to be buying new, expect to pay $100,000 to $150,000 premium over getting a resale. Why is that? There are certain segment of buyers that only like new homes and they're willing to pay the money for it. The other thing to keep in mind is if you're getting a new home, you got to make sure there's going to be an appraisal, right? So don't go crazy adding speaker systems, landscaping lights, all that. That might not appraise, right? Appraiser is not going to give any value, any of that. That's why you need an expert like myself. The other thing that I've seen people run into, right, is they might buy a new home and it says in the contract, if things go south and you decide to sue us, we will represent you on both sides. That's why you need a realtor in your corner. But you know what? New homes are great, right? Like you get all the updated amenities. You got a brick, no one's ever lived into it. You can do the paint you want. You can do everything that you want. You can put in the kitchen counters you want, kitchen cabinets. I've had a lot of first-time buyers or families buy townhomes. They go out to a Culpeper, Virginia, and they build a brand new $600,000-$700,000 home on 2,500 square feet on the top 2 levels with a finished basement. That's something that I want to, definitely want you to keep in mind is you can do whatever you want for the most part when building a new home. Now, some of these builders lately, though, they've only gone to a few different options, so definitely keep that in mind. Personally wise, do they negotiate? That's a very common question I get. They honestly don't really negotiate at all. Most I can ever really get thrown in is a couple $1,000s here or there, but if the builder is very desperate, I can definitely get you some extra amenities. Now, looking for a good deal, you're going to be a lot better off going resale. One thing I will tell you though about resale is there is not much inventory right now, and most of these houses sell really quickly, so you have to be ready to pounce on. The other thing that I'll tell people in Northern Virginia, you don't really get a ton off a house. What do I mean by that? If you're somebody who's like a big low baller, or you like to wheel and deal, people here tend to price their houses pretty right or accurately, and that's something that your agent can help you with, so keep that in mind as well. One of the things I want to talk about next is the schools and universities around Northern Virginia. All right, so talk a little about the schools and universities here in Northern Virginia. One of the things that you might not realize is we have Northern Virginia Community College, which I think is like the second biggest community college system in all of the United States. Actually, the First Lady, Jill Biden, worked at Northern Virginia Community College as a teacher over in Alexandria. Then, of course, we have George Mason University, which they're building these huge tech campuses. Also, Virginia Tech is also building a huge campus. One of the favorite things about Northern Virginia Community College, too, their Manassas campus is named after my grandfather, which is named after my family, which is really cool. And if you ever go by there, it's called Colgan building. They have a huge painting of my grandfather. He was a senator here for years. We have a lot of A+ rated school districts, like Arlington to Loudoun kind of have the most B+ and A+ schools when you go to like a niche.com, and also Fairfax as well. Personally wise, the things I love about the schools, and I have kids too, right, is most of them were brand new. When a developer had to build a neighborhood, a lot of times the county would say, hey, we will let you do that, but you have to donate land for the high school or the new middle school. So pretty much all of the schools here are brand new. The downside is we have tons of new neighborhoods coming in all the time, or we have had them come in right in the past, and they would change a lot of the zoning. I don't know if you're going to see as much as that, but keep in mind, that's one thing I would do, right? Call the local school board and say, hey, is my kid going to be going to this school this year and then a different school the next year? There's all kinds of great private schools as well, like All Saints is one, Paul VI is another one, Thomas Jefferson High School is one of the most popular schools in all of the United States, McLean and Langley High Schools. Each of these are definitely unique. The cool thing, like a Prince William County, right, is each school has their own theme. So like Colgan High School, that's named after my grandfather, they have all kinds of entertainment. Like if you're into singing or playing guitar, they have all kinds of music lessons. They have a huge amphitheater. They even have an amphitheater outside for the kids when they're eating lunch. So each school has their own theme as well, that you're going to see that a lot with the different high schools. Another thing that's going to be opening up in Alexandria is going to be the Virginia Tech Innovation Campus with all kinds of data center type training, AI training, cybersecurity. So universities here, we have a ton of great ones. You can also go into DC. Right there is Georgetown University. If most kids, like if you have kids are going to be of college age, probably the most common schools that people go to that aren't going to be located here are going to be a UVA or a Virginia Tech, or Radford. Those schools are very popular as well. Then another popular school is going to be JMU. My niece goes to Virginia Tech. My brother and sister drive down all the time to the football games. It's a huge hoopla. You know, everyone loves it. It's only about a 3-hour drive from Northern Virginia. I would say the schools here are all pretty much good. So there's not really an area that I would tell you definitely avoid, because prices might be a little bit different. I think the schools here are pretty much, you know, all, well, honestly, pretty great. What I would do is go on niche.com, do your own research, call around, again, go on Facebook, check out the different areas for sure, the different schools, see what type of, you know, school that your kids want to go to. It could be private, could be homeschooling, could be public, but definitely tons of school options here in Northern Virginia. See, I'm thinking, I almost said housing options, tons of housing options. That's how much I like real estate. Definitely email me info@colganteam.com. You're thinking about buying a home here. Next, I want to talk about transportation in Northern Virginia. All right, so one thing I'll tell you about the transportation here in Northern Virginia, unless you are in Arlington or Alexandria, you are going to need a car pretty much, or not even like the Virginia Railway Express, which connects to the metro. You're going to need a car to drive and park. Some places that you can walk, but might be in Old Town Manassas or over in Woodbridge, some of those areas as well, or maybe even Fredericksburg. That VRE rides all the way into DC. Those are very popular. I think it's about $300 to $400 a month if you want full-time service. You can ride the train, like I said, right into the Pentagon. 66 and 95 are probably two of the worst roads in all of the United States. Why is that? There is just a ton of traffic, especially 95. If you're going to be looking at Fredericksburg or Woodbridge or Spotsylvania, definitely talk to us and we can run you down the traffic patterns there. I mean, if there is an accident, plan on sitting there for about 2 hours in traffic. That's something that you're going to keep in mind. Again, they have added some of the hot lanes in Fredericksburg up through Woodbridge. It can get rather expensive. The metro system here is actually world class. It is well known, very popular, safe, nice and clean. Why is that? Because so many people come here to go to Washington, D.C. and they want the tourism to be good. So they really watch those things. We had a brand new Silver Line extension that goes all the way out to Dallas Airport, Tyson's Corner, all the way out to Ashburn. So the metro system is huge. In the Fairfax area, if you want to go towards Centerville or Gainesville Haymarket, it does stop in Vienna. There are expansion talks about the metro, but just keep in mind, that's going to be 10 to 15 years down the road for sure. But the highways here, they have done a good job with them. I will give them credit. They've put in all these hot lanes. Traffic seems to move a little bit smoother. So I will say that. But 95 would definitely be a road to avoid. Anywhere near Washington, D.C., by the way, or the Beltway, you are going to have a ton of traffic. It is just part of life. But you know what? For most buyers, I hear traffic is pretty much bad anywhere in the United States, right? There's one area that's like completely better than the other, even like Florida and Texas and California, right? They have terrible traffic. So let's keep that in mind. What I would say is if you're going to be buying here, right, come out to the town, do one of the commute and see what you think of it. Drive one of the mornings. It's going to be worth it. Don't move somewhere and regret it. That's why you might want to jump on a Zoom with us and get some better idea. And we can definitely walk you through that. We can actually go on Google Maps and show you, considering like parking as well. If you were to do like commute together or do a commuter lot, all these areas around here in Northern Virginia, they all have commuter lots. They are very popular. People park there all the time. They ride together or they ride the bus system into like Tyson's Corner or Washington, D.C. And a ton of people work from home. Now, of course, Elon Musk and Vivek all say they're going to make everybody go back into the office. I will tell you, Amazon is requiring everybody to go back into the office. So if you are thinking about working from home, definitely make sure that's in writing, that you can't be changed. I have had some clients that has happened to. As far as walkability, like it's only really going to be Arlington and Alexandria, in my opinion. You can certainly live in an Ashburn and walk over to the metro. That can be a long ride into Washington, D.C., but transportation issues will be a part of life in the Washington, D.C. area. That is something that you definitely want to consider. Now let's talk about things to do and jobs. Now, part of the reason you probably are watching this video, right, is going to be jobs, right? This is probably one of the best job markets in all of the world. Now, a lot of people think, especially during the election, that it's all government jobs. It really isn't. This is mostly a tech-based area. We do have a ton of defense contractors, things like that. But guess what? You have companies like Raytheon, Boeing, Nestle, Capital One, MicroStrategy, all kinds of different companies, Leidos, like Lockheed Martin. I've sold plenty of their employees things, you know, even like over the data center people. There's pretty much jobs everywhere. Tons of tech jobs. I think Loudoun County in the last 20 years has added like $65 billion to their economy from all the high-tech paying jobs they have. You have Google over there in Reston Innovation Station. You also have Jeff Bezos is his kind of like SpaceX competitor. That's over there as well. So all kinds of tech and government jobs, right? We have all kinds. We have the FBI field office in Manassas. We have the FAA over in Warrenton. So jobs are abundant here. And that's why most people live in Northern Virginia. I will tell you the one thing about that is most people here are dual income households. Both couples work. That's pretty much the standard around here. And both people go to work every day. It's not like, you know, the days where maybe the wife went to work and the husband stayed home, the husband went to work. So a lot of times both couples work, but there's plenty of daycare options as well. Now, things to do, right? That is one of the things that a lot of people ask me. There is so much to do here. If someone ever tells you there's not much to do in Northern Virginia or DC, they are definitely lying. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you, because like there's so much to do here. Like you can just go into DC, go to the monuments, you can go to any of the museums. One of my favorite museums is the Air and Space Museum. There's two. There's one inside of DC at the Smithsonian. You got like the Lindbergh plane, the Wright brothers plane. Then you've got the one over at Dallas Airport where you can see a Concorde. You can see one of the space shuttles. So you have all those museums. One weekend, I took my father-in-law from Bolivia. We went over to the Marine Museum over in Fredericksburg or Woodbridge, Virginia. There's just so many museums. I absolutely love it. Also, right where I live, the Civil War was fought, most of the battles here. So we have all the battlefields that you can walk around. They got people walking around like, you know, doing a full-fledged reenactment. I don't know how they do it when it's 150 degrees outside, but they do it. Also, which is hugely popular here, Northern Virginia has been called the next Napa Valley. We have all kinds of wineries here. Breweries are extremely popular as well. Most of them are brand new, high dollar facilities. You can go out there all weekend and just hang out. I've had client parties there. We've had commanders come and sign autographs at some of these breweries. They are really popular. If you are into hiking is extremely popular. A lot of people go out to Luray. Shenandoah National Park is going to be another hugely popular area. And they also go into West Virginia. Restaurant scene. Washington, D.C. has an unbelievable restaurant scene. It is like crazy. There are so many Michelin 5-star restaurants around here. Northern Virginia has gotten a lot better. Very diverse food market as well. Now, of course, we have the typical Ruby Tuesdays and Applebee's. Of course we do, but we also have a lot of local restaurants, and this is a very diverse area, so there's all kinds of diverse food as well. Then we have the Commanders, you have DC United, you have the Wizards, unfortunately, who never really won a game for some reason, the Capitals, and the Washington Nationals. Both the Capitals and the Nationals won a World Series within the last 5 years, and the Commanders have Jaden Daniels, and there's talks of them building a new stadium at the site of RFK over in DC, or maybe even Northern Virginia. Seasonal, right? We have tons of seasonal activities right here. The winter, it gets cold, snow, Christmas. Middleburg, Virginia was named the best Christmas town in all of America. Then we have the beautiful spring weather here. Then you have the nice summer, it's nice clear. And then the fall, I absolutely love it here. You get that crisp fall air. People go apple picking and they go to the breweries, wineries. It's not too cold. The leaves start to change colors. One of my employees works remote in California. She flew out here for a week just to drive around and see all the leaves changing colors, which to me, I see it all the time. It wasn't that exciting to me. I was like, well, Los Angeles seems pretty cool, but she was more enthralled with seeing the leaves change colors. So there are so much things to do. One of my favorite things to do here is I'll drive out to a Skyline Drive. Me and my wife and my kid will stay at one of the Airbnbs there. We have all kinds of unique Airbnb properties. Also, you can jump on 95 and go up towards New York City within 3 to 5 hours. You can be in New York City, you got Philadelphia, you got Baltimore. So many different areas that you can drive to or do. Some of my other favorite things are just going with friends to a winery and hanging out. Like, I just have plenty of favorite wineries. If you ever want, email me. I can tell you some of the best ones around here. And then also we like going to Tyson's Corner Mall, all the high-end shopping that's over there as well. But going into DC, you really cannot beat it. You can walk around Georgetown, see all the sites, or maybe even Old Town Alexandria. Another great place that's close here is going to be National Harbor, Maryland, with the MGM Casino. They have all kinds of things going on there as well. Now, guys, as I said, if you are thinking about moving to Northern Virginia in 2025, definitely hit me up. I hope this video helps you with your journey here moving to Northern Virginia. We would love to help you and be your agents of choice. Obviously, you know, Northern Virginia, we've lived here. Well, I've lived here my whole life. Text me anytime, 571-437-7575. Email me info@colganteam.com. I put out new videos every week. Also follow me on Instagram @ChrisColganTeam. I'll see you on the next video.